right, Jimmy Roux, Cycling Without Age. How are you?
I'm good. Hey,
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. So the oldest pilot, 90 years old, and the oldest passenger, 110. I read that on the website.
I wish. No, I think, is that on our website?
Well, it's on the national website.
Oh, so Cycling Without Age is the international company in Copenhagen, Denmark. We are one of 2,500 chapters around the country, or around the world. So we were the third chapter in Virginia to get a trishaw, which is like a rickshaw, but they call them trishaws. Our oldest pilot was 72, or is 72, and our oldest passenger is was 95, and we did that 3 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A 95-year-old.
95. It was Rosa and Brenda. She came with her daughter.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in this?
So years ago, I was commuting to work by bike, and I was just looking at YouTube's. I wanted to be more sustainable. I wanted to, join the sustainability crowd, and this one TED Talk kept popping up. Once you're on YouTube, people start sending, you might like this YouTube, and I kept deleting it, and finally I watched it, and it was from Ole Kassow, who founded Cycling Without Age in Copenhagen, and he gave a 14-minute talk, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And he talked about how he had his trishaw, and he would go to old folks' homes and give people rides. And it started out innocently, just a few friends, and then before he knew it, he had to get more people involved. He had to get more trishaws, more volunteers. And so I watched this with my wife, and we said, we have to get somebody to do this. So we started telling all our friends, you have to do this. But nobody took us up on it. So in 2020, we decided to start it ourselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a trishaw, or how many?
We have one, and we're raising money for our second right now.
That's awesome. So tell me how you all are funded.
We are funded by donations and grants. And we have to thank the Greater Lynchburg Community Foundation because they've been very supportive. Westminster Canterbury has been supportive, and the community in general by donations.
So do you all actually take your bike and go to to assisted living facilities? And
right now, John Steiner at Bikes Unlimited, he's the president of the board now. He houses the trishaw at Bikes Unlimited downtown. Every Saturday, we're at the Love Sign to offer free trishaw rides to those people who can't access the outdoors independently, right? So, and even if they want to, we'll be happy to give anybody a ride. One day a month, we partner with Westminster Canterbury on a Friday. We go there. One day a month, we partner with the Summit. We go there. And then one Friday a month, we partner with Parks and Rec. They organize rides for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you pedal? Is that you? Are you the peddler?
We call them pilots.
Pilots?
Yeah, that's what they call them. So we have pilots. We have about 12 pilots right now. And some are varying degrees of participation.
So there's, on the national website, there's if someone wants to assist you all, like if they wanted to buy another trishaw, what do they do?
You can go to Cycling Without Age Lynchburg. If you Google it, you'll go right to our website, and then you'll see us. There'll be a donation button there. There'll be a button to volunteer to be a pilot, and there'll be a button there to get a free trishaw ride. So you just hit the button and you fill out the form.
That's great. And how much do these trishaws cost?
The one we just had was $12,000, and that's electrical assist.
Ah.
So, and it came from Copenhagen. So.
And that's where all of them come from? Or?
Right now, that's where all of them come from.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to open a trishaw company here in the United States, I think they do really well.
Oh, that's amazing. So, and also if people want to donate or partner, they can go to your website.
Yep.
And then events. Do you have yearly events to fundraise or?
We really haven't. We've been really lucky, and we've been able to fundraise just from our website and word of mouth. We started, this is our third year. So the first year we got our trishaw in July, and we started giving rides in August. And that was a short year. The second year we more than doubled our rides, and this year we're going to more than double our rides.
That's amazing. So I don't think people realize when you're talking about people that are in assisted living or whatever the situation may be, we've had people on the podcast. A lot of those people don't really have interaction with people. They don't get to see people. So you were mentioning a few minutes ago before we started that a lady and her daughter were riding. Do their children bring them? How do these people get there?
It's, on Saturdays, we meet at the Love Sign downtown. which is right next to Bikes Unlimited. So we get the trishaw out, we wait there, we have a little table and chairs, and there's a parking lot right there. And so if they're not able to get to the love sign, they'll just text us and we'll go pick them up at the parking lot. But people come to the parking lot, we get them on the trishaw, and we take them up and down the Blackwater Creek Trail. So it's a very slow ride, it's very calming, enjoyable. And if they want to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. But if they just want to enjoy, they get to enjoy the outdoors.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you and your wife started this.
We started the idea, and we got a board together, and we became 501c3 approved.
So tell me about your leadership locally. You were mentioning your president owns Bikes Unlimited.
Yep. So John Steiner, thank you, John, for being president. I was president when we started. I just moved out of that to focus on the rides. And John's the president, so he's focusing on new ideas, making changes, enhancing the organization, and he houses the trishaw. We have a treasurer, Francis Bush, who's an ex-University of Lynchburg retired professor. We have Virgil Oxendine, who's also a University of Lynchburg employee, and he's our secretary. And our vice president is Brandy DeWeese, and she does home health care for a local organization.
That's awesome. So that's another end for you all to get people.
Well, actually, Brandy's the one who went to the summit and said, hey, we want to give you guys rides. And they said, yeah, come on. And it's a real party. We just went there last week, and we go for like 2 hours from 2 to 4. And we thought it might be too hot, but luckily it was kind of like one of those cloudy days. And it's just a party whenever we go because the people are there, the residents are there, and they sit outside. We just give them rides. And the time before that, they had a saxophone player, and they had punch. And my wife brought our dog Beignet. He's kind of like a pet therapy dog, not officially, but an unofficial pet therapy dog. So he was actually more the highlight than the trishaw.
So is the dog white and fluffy, or?
He's a Labradoodle.
Oh, well, close enough.
Yeah.
So share with us your vision. Where do you see this going? How do you see this blossoming? Where would you like to be with this 5 or 10 years from now?
We'd like to have a fleet of trishaws, volunteers who are engaged and happy to be there. I'd like to see like 2 trishaws on the Blackwater Creek Trail every day of the week, giving people rides who want to get outside.
So you mentioned that the trishaw is assisted motorized.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that your current president, that if there's issues, they work on these.
That's amazing you brought it up because last summer we were out of service for like 4 weeks. We were on a ride and the motor broke, not the electrical assist, but the motor. And so when we looked at it, John and his crew, Brian is the one who really took it under his wing and found a place that could rebuild that motor in Tennessee, and we shipped the motor, not the whole trishaw, and it came back, and yeah, it took a while.
Awesome.
Yeah, but they had it under control. And actually we got a better built motor because they said the one that was there really wasn't as strong as we needed.
And so you order the trishaw comes in with the motor, but then the motor's not really big enough or strong enough.
Well, we had used it nonstop, right? So we had used it for a whole year, and we're into our second year when it broke. So, and that means that's going through training with all our pilots, all of our rides, and so on. So we got our money's worth for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like to me it would be good, and I would think you would probably with these events need at least 2, maybe 3 or 4.
Well, when it was broken, people were wanting rides, and we're out of service right now, so we could have had at least 1 in service. So.
And what about, do you all participate in any of these national events? Have you done that, being as this is...
Like national events.
Oh, I have all kinds of...
Oh, let's hear it. We'd love to.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if...
we do stuff with the Parks and Rec, like we do the Glow Ride, we do the Christmas Ride. I think we're doing a thing with the Junior League. We've done some health fairs. So just to get the word out.
Yeah, so it says that it was created in 2012 in Copenhagen. 39 countries, 3,050 chapter locations. This was as of February 23. 4,900 trishaws. That's amazing. Over 3 million rides. 650,000 people served, and that
Wow.
the national site's where I saw the oldest
Oh, that's
pilot
awesome.
and passenger. Um, Let me see. Yeah, there were a lot. There's in different places, different countries. They have different things that they
Yeah.
do, and it's all on the website.
That would be
national
fun. Well,
website.
I know that in Copenhagen, every year they take people on vacation. They travel to the next town on the trishaws. And if you watch the TED Talk on that page or on our local website, it's quite amazing. He said, because it just breathes life. Everybody has a good biking story. People grew up on bikes. They have a good biking story. It brings back fond memories. And so it makes people young again.
I grew up on a bike, but do people really grow up on bikes today? I think that's a problem with youth. They
Well,
grow
you
up
know-
in front of a TV with this in their hand.
You know, I take students from the University of Lynchburg to New Orleans every spring break to do a service trip, and part of it is a bike ride. We do a bike tour of the Lower Ninth Ward, and every year for the past 3 years, I've had at least one person say I've never been on a bike before.
Okay, so this is why I made that statement, because I was having dinner with someone 2 nights ago, and this person looks at me and says, "Do you know how to ride a bike?" At first, I was very offended. I thought, "Do I look like I don't know how to ride a bike?" And so, "You think I can't ride a bike?" I could not believe that was a question, but this was someone moving in from actually Oregon, so they didn't understand that we're outdoorsy here, so to speak. You know, the tobacco and dairy farm. Do you know how to ride a bike?
I guess everyone grew up riding a bike where I came from.
Me too.
And I guess you just assumed everybody still did.
I'm still stumped by that. Can you ride a bike? I don't know. So people can sign up for a newsletter, and we talked about how things are funded. So you all, well, and I'm sure you do as well, but on the national website, there's all sorts of things about how to connect on Twitter, how to watch YouTube, where everything is. So you mentioned the president, the secretary, treasurer, etc. How many other people do you work with locally closely?
Well, we have 10 board members, and they meet and strategize, address problems and issues. So we work mostly with Westminster Canterbury Summit, Parks and Rec, and local health fairs. Like I said, the Junior League is having a fair. We're going to be there. And it's in our third year, people are now still coming to us and say, "Hey, let's do this, let's do that." And we're very open to any options.
That's awesome, because I was reading partnership guidelines. I love this, to give the elderly wind in their hair, and the core principles are top of mind. And on the website, there's different partnership guidelines, which are great. And do you all, I guess you use the Hood?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that, because, of course, it says the Hood community. I'm thinking, all right, where are we going with
Yeah,
this?
so those who are not familiar with the Hood, it's a website dedicated to partners who can go there and get information about anything cycling without age related. But you have to be a partner to get
Correct.
access to that. So like when we had trouble with where do we get the trishaw fixed, we went to the Hood. Just information like how long are the rides? How long do you guys give rides to passengers? How do you train your pilots? So everything is on the Hood.
Yeah, so I think what you should do is you should let people buy trishaws for you, and just put like a license plate on the back, donated by. I think
Yeah,
you'd
that's a good
probably get
idea.
a lot of
Yeah.
those.
Happy to do that.
I think you'd have 4, 6, or 8 before you
Yeah.
know it. So there were a lot of other things on there about regional leaders, site organization, and it said something. I guess when you become a partner and you go to the Hood, the Hood online. Partners, they're talking about local community partners, correct?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. And then you were talking a little while ago, well, basically education. How do you educate people about this? I mean,
Well, we're on Instagram and Facebook. I've been invited to come share information about it on a number of different platforms, like the DPT school at Westminster Canterbury. different places, health fairs and so on, and they just say, hey, come talk to us. And we bring the TriShaw, we give them rides, we tell them what we're doing, and we have handouts. So it's just word of mouth is really popular, and we've grown substantially just since the first year with the ride offerings.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to the summit, you're going to Westminster Canterbury. I mean, and again, it's, for example, we had Meals on Wheels here. And the Miss Tweedy that was here was talking about the fact that these people don't leave their homes, and it's the only person that these people see or that come visit them.
Yeah.
And I had a situation where a client of mine that had bought a house 20 years ago, a mutual friend called and said that he fell down the steps. He's elderly, fell down the steps, had been laying at the base of the steps for 3 days.
Wow.
And that the Meals on Wheels person went around to the side of the house to the basement door and could see his legs at the bottom of the steps.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, that man would have been there for who knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
So your nonprofit, all of these nonprofits are absolutely amazing, and they're such an asset to our community. And I don't think it, it just makes me sort of tear up, because I don't think people realize what a big deal this ride is for these elderly people that you go and you work with, and that do this.
Yeah, well, we're giving out fun.
Yes.
And I think when COVID came, things changed, and we're not the same since then, but I think something that hasn't changed is people want to have fun. We've had people that have never been on the Blackwater Creek Trail. We've had people who've never been on a bike before, and all of a sudden they get to access the outdoors. We've had people that have lived in the city and never been on the Blackwater Creek Trail. So, and we get their stories, So it's really a lot of fun. I think we need to do a better job of sharing their stories on our social media platforms.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. We're trying to get your name out there in a positive way. So on a national level, though, they have a lot of events that they listed on their website. So I guess these different locals will travel if they want to participate in these events.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun to do. So when we started, Williamsburg and Richmond were the only 2 chapters with TriShaws, and we contacted them, and they were both very helpful. And consequently, I've been contacted since then about other places starting, and it's just it's an understanding that we're just there to share all the information that we can to make everybody the best they can be.
So how many different groups or organizations are there in the state of Virginia, approximately?
I think since then, Loudoun County has a TriShaw, and Charlottesville has a chapter, but they don't have a TriShaw yet. So we have a number of places that have chapters, but haven't gotten their TriShaw yet.
So who all do you have locally that pilots your TriShaw?
The board members are all trained to pilot, but we find that other people are more interested. So what happens is, let's say you're interested, you've pressed a button and you will say, I want to try to be a pilot, and we'll train you. It's an hour training, and then when you're comfortable, then you can take passengers. But it's only until you're comfortable, and you go through our training. And we find some people do it, and they're like, this is a lot of fun, but they're not comfortable with passengers. And they're like, maybe this isn't for me. And then some people just love it.
Now, why would somebody not be comfortable with a passenger?
Because I think it's front loading. The passengers sit in the front, and it's a little heavier, right? So it's on 3 wheels, so it's really difficult to turn over. But navigating can be challenging, I think, for some people.
So are the 2 wheels in the front, are they stationary?
They sit on top of the 2 wheels.
Yeah.
No, those rotate.
Oh.
So yeah.
So you have 2 people basically in this huge basket that rotates.
Yeah, the basket rotates.
And is the 3rd wheel stationary?
Behind, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
now I get it.
The pilot sits on the 3rd wheel.
So where's the motor actually next to the 3rd
Under
wheel?
the seat. Under the
seat.
seat, yeah. Yeah, I can show you some pictures on Instagram if you want.
Well, I have to admit, because at first I was thinking, what's the big deal about driving this thing? But I hadn't really, even though I saw pictures, I hadn't thought of the process, because it is really front heavy if you have 2 people.
This is Rosa and Brenda. That's the 95-year-old and her daughter. And that's Mark Smith. He worked for an architecture firm downtown. He's he likes to pilot a lot. Brandy DeWeese, she's a vice president. I think she weighs 90 pounds soaking wet. She's one of our best pilots. So it's not about how big you are and how strong you are, right?
So when you say motor assist, though, if you have two people in the front, it's a lot of motor assist.
You get to choose. So there's 4 levels of assist, and it's only pedal assist. So you have to pedal to get the electric component to get into gear. So we have, it's Eco, Tour, Sport, and Boost. Boost is the highest level, right? And so we usually use Boost when we're turning, and it's a tight turn. When we get to the end of Blackwater Creek, we have to turn around. So we gear down, high boost, so that you can pedal slowly and get through that turn without a problem. So sometimes if it's heavier, you might have to use one of the other electrical powers. But if we started, like on Saturdays when we start, if we just boosted or used the boost the whole time, we wouldn't get through the day. We wouldn't have enough electrical power to get through the day because all the electrical power would be gone.
Well, the city needs to put you one of those chargers in.
Oh, we have a charger. Yeah, we can charge it, but that's no. If we have rides scheduled every hour on the hour, and we won't have time to charge it.
So when people come downtown, they come to the love sign. They want to ride. It's an hour.
Yeah, well, we can go as long as or short as they want, but for us to leave the love sign, go to the end, cross the 2 bridges by Percival's Island, come around, that's 45 minutes, 50 minutes, really slow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we got it timed out. When we first started, we were just doing 15-minute rides, because that's what Williamsburg does. But then they were like, no, that's all we do. But the people here said, no, we want to go longer. So we said, let's schedule on hour increments.
So how many rides can you go off of a charge?
Well, if you don't use the boost, you can go all day.
Oh, really?
So it depends on how much the pilot uses the boost or not, right? So we can last all day and still use boost around the turns. But if you just have it in boost the whole time, meaning you're not pedaling much at all, then battery's gonna wear down.
So how long do these batteries last?
Well, they should last you 8 hours.
No, I mean lifetime. What's a lifetime?
Well, we haven't found that out yet. I guess hopefully we don't have to find that out anytime soon.
And how long have you had your trash out?
This is our 3rd year.
3 years.
Yeah, still charging for us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you need a new battery, where do you get your new battery?
Well, we'll have to go to Copenhagen. You know,
that's not cheap.
That's why I think having at least another tri-shar, we could at least keep one running if something happens to the other.
They need to invest in you all and make some donations. So your tri-shar's 3 years old. You don't know how long the batteries last. Is this a 20-year thing, or is this a? I need to figure this out so I know how much to go ask somebody for a tri-shar, and they'll ask me these questions.
I've never been asked that question, and I don't know the answer. We're just gonna, I'm thinking since we have Bikes Unlimited and John downtown, whatever happens, we'll be able to repair. So I guess that's the thinking.
Now, does anybody else in town have a tri-shar, or are you all the only people that have a tri-shar?
I'm not aware of any other tri-shar, or even a rickshaw in town.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware of it.
We should have some rickshaws downtown, actually.
But when we ride it downtown, it's like it gets a lot of attention. Just riding it, it's different. Nobody's seen like, wow, well, look at that. So I think that word of mouth and that visual, that grassroots public relations helps us out a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think time's up, Jimmy.
Oh, man. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
Just like that. Thank you so much. I'm going to read some more and see if I can't find somebody that'll buy you all a tri-shar.
Thanks so much, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll
get you your second one.
We'll have to get your ride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I can ride a bike. I'm okay.
You could be a pilot for us.
Well, let me tell you, I could be. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.